Well, but now we're starting. Hey, everybody. Now I saw it on the thing. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ready to Ramble. We don't have an intro still. We're still got to get an intro. Still got to get Janel in that intro. But I'm still going to rock it as if we had an intro. Because one day I'm going to go back and I'm going to insert that new intro. It's going to happen the free time I have. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Iffy is possibly on his way. I got a text saying he is stuck in traffic. Janel is currently in the process of moving closer to the Hyper Studios, but her original place is like an hour away.
Jeez.
So she's like...
She was that far away?
Yeah, apparently she's that far away. I don't know if that's traffic, like if miles less or whatever it is, but either way, she's exhausted. Iffy's on his way. So Aaron's sticking around after Dragon Ball.
I'm here. I'm ready.
Oh, I'm so
ready to rock.
This is gonna be great, guys. So we didn't
I'm the swerve.
Yeah, swerve. We didn't have a show last week because of 4th of July, so there's so much to talk about, guys. We had great balls of fire. It happened.
Yeah.
The balls were on fire, and apparently they were great. And actually, I would say it was a pretty good pay-per-view.
It was not actually. You know what? Besides the name of it, it was actually a pretty decent show
For a pay-per-view that we
panned that for months.
Oh my god!
Straight.
I think we thought truly this is going to be so bad just based on the title.
Yeah.
We were like, this is going to be such a bad pay-per-view. People are going to be like,
not bad.
No,
everyone who I was very satisfied leaving this. There were some confusing parts about it.
Oh yeah,
we talked about that right before we went on, but there were some confusing parts. But at the same time, I had a good time watching it. It was a decent pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was overall like a really, really good pay-per-view, which was great. And I always appreciate when WWE has like one of their really strong pay-per-views that's not one of the four.
Yeah.
One of the main four. I was like, oh, this worked. Everything just worked. And don't worry, we are definitely going to be talking about
that rap battle.
Holy.
That rap battle. Wow.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. We're going to talk about that rap battle. And we're also going to talk about a little bit, I'm going to talk about the G1 New Japan show because I went to it.
Oh, nice.
In Long Beach. I was able to go to it, so I'll talk about that a bit as well. But let us talk about timeline-wise. I guess actually we should just talk about the rap battle.
Let's go because you guys didn't have a show last week.
Didn't have a show last week. Was not able to talk about it. It was the Usos, the New Day. They had a rap battle, and that is one of those things when you hear WWE is going to do a rap battle.
I, as a black man, was just like, I'm not going to watch it or I'll shoot my television.
Concern.
I was very concerned. I was like, oh, no.
And this is a week after the whole Laszlo Ball situation.
Yeah.
That's like...
Lonzo Ball looked like someone's drunk uncle at a picnic about to get into a fight with somebody. Like,
we talked about that on our last episode. Me and Iffy loved that. That was such great TV. Mostly because it was just like they didn't know what to do.
They didn't know what to do, and you can't just have random people with live mics and not prompt them on how to conduct themselves on television when you got sponsors.
Well, either they were prompted how to do it, or they didn't care.
Which is kind of indicative of the Ball family.
Very.
So,
so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, so going into this rap battle, it then becomes like, how is this going to go? We know the New Day have a bit of a long leash as far as like being able to kind of do their own thing, improv and stuff. But is this going to be something where WWE is going to be like, here's the script?
It's because they brought up something that you weren't supposed to bring up.
They sure did. So this rap battle got started. Both groups had like a posse. They had a whole group of people with them. It was actually pretty cool.
It was pretty funny.
It
was funny, and those two bouncing off of each other with the Usos being the straight man. It was entertaining. It was funny. Then it got weird. So one of the Usos, I think Jay. I think the one not married to
Naomi.
Yeah,
I believe so. Brought up. He basically, within the rap, brought up, and WWE edited it out. So if you go watch it on YouTube, it's not there. And it's a very awkward cut in the YouTube clip. They mentioned the Paige sex tape with
Xavier Woods.
Well, because what was the rap? It was like, we're rated PG, so let's keep it good unless you want to be X-rated like your man Xavier Woods.
Yeah, something like that. And that was one of those.
Cut to commercial, damn it! Oh, the crowd popped.
The crowd popped hard. So it was just like, nah.
But yeah, super entertaining. Really, really enjoyed that. And it was actually it's so interesting how like Raw and SmackDown will kind of go back and forth on who had the better show.
Yeah,
and stuff like that because we definitely had a degree of. For a while after Mania, Raw was kind of dull.
Raw was like, nah, and then SmackDown was like, okay, great, because SmackDown actually focused on what that one W in WWE stands for, wrestling.
Wrestling, yes. But now I feel like SmackDown is still good. They have some great moments, but there's a lot of it feels like sitting around a little bit. Like, I don't know how much longer Randy Orton is going to keep feuding.
But
the whole thing. So that's the other thing too. We were not able to talk about that. They're doing a Punjabi prison match.
Which, goodness,
maybe it'll be great. But y'all,
my thing is this, like, and very unpopular opinion. I've said this on this show a couple times.
Right.
I'm fine. I like Jinder Mahal as champ.
I do too.
I'm cool with it. I like it. However, and WWE has a problem with this. Whenever anyone ethnic is doing anything major, they have to go just full-blown racist with it.
Yes.
And okay, I get it. The celebration when he got the championship, that was actually an actual type of Indian celebration.
Yes,
so I was like, okay, cool. They actually did that justice. But now they're like, okay, Punjabi prison match. I'm like, come on.
Well, and so here's the thing. Some people online have pointed out that, the reason the Punjabi prison match is looked down on is because it always involved the great Khali, who was not a great wrestler.
No.
For the exception of the Undertaker Big Show match, because Khali couldn't wrestle that night. Also not a great match. Big Show was that was probably when he was in one of his worst shapes.
Yeah.
So people are saying like, maybe it'll work out, and maybe it will work out. But the main thing about the Punjabi prison match, if you've never seen this, anyone watching,
don't watch it.
Don't watch it. But also just Google the images, and it's like a cage on top of a cage, which makes it like weird to look at.
Yeah, and it's like it's like really weird. It's very vision obstructing too, because it's like a lot of bamboo rods and stuff
on top of more bamboo rods.
It looks like if you have a Chinatown in your city, it looks like one of those old stores with just like old artifacts in and stuff. And it's just it's very displeasing to the eye. The match itself is very convoluted. The rules change every time.
Because they're still trying to figure it out.
Every time. And it's one of those things like it's like an Inferno match, but no one's going to get caught on fire or anything like that.
Well, it's so weird that they brought it back, because it's like, unlike the Inferno match or the original Elimination Chamber, like all those matches went really well the first time. So you're like, let's bring it back. Punjabi prison match has never gone well, so the fact that they're bringing it back is like, and
most of those matches also ended up having pay-per-views named after them. Yes. I do not want to see a Punjabi prison pay-per-view.
No. Oh my God,
no. And if India, as a business point of view, WWE, if India is your third largest market, don't sully it with this crappy type of match,
Yeah, and so it's gonna be weird, and it's also weird too, because like I like Jinder, and I Randy Orton, his weird personal stuff aside, I don't mind his character.
No.
But the problem is like Randy Orton is almost like the example people go to of like he won't bring his A game unless someone else brings their A game. Like he's just so naturally good that therefore he kind of can coast.
He's extremely naturally good, which made him naturally cocky about it.
Yes.
But at the same time, and I like Randy Orton as well. However, I haven't liked Randy Orton as champion in many years.
No, it's been a hot minute, and
he's not the type of person that you put in a position to elevate anyone else, and that's what's holding Jinder Mahal back as well, because Randy can't be bothered. That's basically his.
And the other thing too is like Jinder. I like Jinder, but his moveset is limited. He's not the most versatile in the ring. He's good, not great, and so you kind of have two wrestlers who are kind of. But and that's why it's like they're not really lighting up SmackDown. What lit up SmackDown recently was the rap battle, which is all the women's matches. Because so we weren't able to talk about it last week. Obviously, ladder match did happen, and Carmella did walk away the victor, which is what we thought was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Whether that was the case of the writers.
I was so glad that I wasn't on the show when the first.
Let's talk about that,
because that it pissed me off.
Okay.
To no end.
Right.
Because they hyped this female Money in the Bank match.
Yes.
They hyped it up so much, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm all in, I'm great. Then it was won by a man.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, you 2 steps forward.
Yep.
50 million steps back.
But not
even like any dude.
I know.
A dude who looks like James Ellsworth.
Who's literally a joke. And,
look up Beak from the X-Men, and you will see. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Look up Beak from the
Morrison
X-Men.
run.
Look up Beak from the X-Men, and you will see James Ellsworth.
Yeah, and maybe of like Ellsworth, but he's been written as like a comedic character. Yeah. So for him to be the winner of that match is not great.
It's like when Harvey Whippleman won the women's title. Or when Santino Marella won Miss WrestleMania.
Oh, God. They still talk about that. That still comes up on the internet,
so
understandably.
This is another thing that just makes your company not look like it's behind the women that you guys prop up so high, but then you knock them right back down.
Right. And thankfully, they have corrected that. They had another match. They barred him.
Yes, they did. But at the same time, it's like everyone remembers their first.
I know, yeah.
This is the first impression of this match that they gave us.
I know.
And they totally dropped the ball on it.
I know. But so Carmella has the Money in the Bank. And the other main thing from
Someone
SmackDown,
looked it up. Oh, my gosh. That's an image.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Beak. Now I want to go reread the Grant Morrison X-Men.
It was a good storyline, but Beak was just a terrible character.
Yeah, no, not a great character. But and so on the SmackDown front, too, this was not on television. And this doesn't happen often. The last time it happened was Joe and Balor at NXT in a house show. AJ Styles won the U.S. Championship at the Garden show that happened last week. It's very rare to see a championship change hands at a house show.
Because the last time I can remember it, like vividly remember it, I know it happens, but the last time it was Edge, his first Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
He beat Jeff Jarrett the night before pay-per-view in 1999 or 98 or something like that.
Oh, that's right.
He lost it the next. Yeah, his first title run was at a house event, and then he lost it the next day at the pay-per-view.
It's always interesting when that happens because, like I said, the one that happened 2 years ago, I think it was Joe and Balor did the NXT Championship at a house show, and the reason that surprised people was because that was a feud that was building up, and they were going to have a pay-per-view.
Right.
So the fact that the title changed hands at a house show was really interesting. But yeah, I love AJ Styles. And so on top of that, what we then have, if we can bring this up on the screen, Kevin Owens made his Twitter, both his Twitter photo and the background, dark black, nothing there. And someone asked him about it, and he said, "My Twitter account is black, out to represent the future of the U.S. now that the United States title is held by a terrible human being."
So Kevin Owens is awesome. I love Kevin Owens because he's his character inside and outside of the ring, and he protects his character. He's great with it, and he's like, okay, I was the best thing about the U.S. title, and I'm Canadian. He's like, okay, now it's held by a terrible person. So I want to see how long his Twitter's blacked out.
And also speaking of Twitter, I guess Ty Dillinger and The Miz are going at it, which is interesting because Ty Dillinger's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And The Miz
is on Raw.
And we're going to talk about Miz in a minute when we talk about the pay-per-view. But I think this is interesting. The Miz...
start with The Miz, yeah.
Yeah, going over to Ty Dillinger. Why? So I can watch you perform in an opening dark match. # IC title comeback tour. And then Ty Dillinger responded, "You'd watch? Wait, do you want to steal more moves? Besides, I work magic in the dark. Just ask your wife."
Wow.
Wow. That is... I think that might be kayfabe breaking.
That
this is
that may be a kayfabe break.
Oh my God.
Jeez. Mike the Miz.
Yeah,
wow.
Mike the Miz. So yeah, Miz and Ty Dillinger going at it, which is amazing. I do not know if that is gonna.
I don't know if that's gonna turn into anything.
I don't know, but Vince loves real drama happens. He'll bring Ty Dillinger to Raw.
Ask Matt Hardy. He'll bring life drama to the wrestling ring.
You'll just see Ty Dillinger show up. So that was great. But let's jump. Well, actually, before Great Balls of Fire, so I'll talk very briefly about the G1 New Japan show. So they were here for Saturday and Sunday. It was definitely for New Japan a massive push for them to try and attract a U.S. audience. Because the show, the one I went to on Saturday, was live on Access. They showed it live on Access. Jim Ross was there doing the commentary, play-by-play, which was great. So that was live on Access. And then Sunday was not live on Access. So that was a big push for them to try to get people to buy the app.
Okay.
The New Japan app, which for those of you who don't know, Janelle's talked about it before. The New Japan app is a way you can watch a lot of this stuff live. And they had a U.S. Champions tournament. Some of the matches took place on Saturday. It finished on Sunday. And then there was feuds that were built on Saturday that ended on Sunday. So it was definitely a two-part. We're here. We're in America. watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it was awesome. I'll say, like, I really loved it. And they brought everyone out. Like, Omega, Okada was there,
Nice.
Cody Rhodes, Billy Gunn. The list just goes on and on of people who were there who got huge responses. The majority of the Bullet Club, who were tag champions, lost their titles. And then
Did they win it back?
I think, did they win it back on Sunday? I got to look. I haven't watched it yet. I've been very busy, but I wanted to rewatch it. But it was great. The crowd was awesome, I thought. So I will say this is an interesting thing of not being there live or being there live compared to watching on TV. I really liked the Cody Okada match.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And online, it's been heavily criticized. But being in the crowd, it felt like a really hot match.
It's different when you're there and when you're
Oh,
not.
yeah.
Because I've gone to live shows, I've watched things on TV, and I can see how some things you can get more engaged in when you're there.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have the adrenaline from everyone else in the audience and stuff. It's like there's some things, if they're airing it live, then they're not cutting anything out. But there's different angles and stuff as well. It's like Prince Puma. Here we go.
Yeah, so that's the big thing that did happen on Sunday. I believe Ricochet showed up to the New Japan show. Janelle was texted me and Iffy and said, "Holy shit, are you guys watching?" And we were like, "No, what happened?" Because so I will say, actually, one thing that did happen on Saturday in the morning, the Bullet Club had offered CM Punk a spot in the Bullet Club if he wanted to join. So some people, there was speculation like, is CM Punk here? Is he going to show up? What's going to happen? Is he finally blah, 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 blah? Obviously did not happen. That would have been sweet as hell. But Ricochet did show up. Ricochet, who has been wanting to leave Lucha Underground, had a little shade that he threw. He jumped on the mic on Sunday and said, what exactly? Basically what he said was, he's like, I would have been here sooner, but a certain underground federation has been keeping me down.
Oh, wow.
And so he threw some hot liquid shade at Lucha Underground, which is interesting because Prince Puma has been like the main character.
Yeah. So
maybe it must have been money because I can't believe it's a lack of a spot.
No,
because he's like he was like the second hottest guy or the hottest guy depending on the season. Thank you so much. Thank you for that subscription for 13 months in a row. Wow, thank you very much. But yeah, so that was New Japan show was great. If they come back and you're a wrestling fan, I can't recommend it high enough. Seeing Will Ospreay work in the ring, seeing what a lot of these guys can do. It's so hard hitting too. If you're like a big fan of hard hitting wrestling and big flying, the first two matches were 10-man tags.
Oh,
which can usually be very clustery, but they were really
very
like
much so. But they were really.
They were great, and it was a great way to showcase like here's who some of our stars are.
Yeah.
So to see like the Young Bucks take on the Briscoes was great. The Billy Gunn match. So the one I saw was the tag match. He was in a tag match. He got tagged in. He did his DX thing with the crotch chop, and it got a huge response. But like as far as like the Sunday night match, people were into it, but I think a lot of people felt like they didn't understand why he was getting an Intercontinental Championship shot, other than the fact that he was famous 20 years ago.
Yeah, because when you think about Billy Gunn in his heyday, 97, 98 was a long, long time ago.
So someone is saying that they won't let him appear on TV is the issue. Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Won't let their guys appear on televised American TV, which is why Ricochet was on night 2 only. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, there you go. That makes a lot of sense then. That's fascinating. So yeah, I guess, but he's going to be doing stuff in New Japan, which is awesome. And if you're not watching New Japan, again, if you're a wrestling fan not watching New Japan, I can't recommend it highly enough.
Like if you're into wrestling and not like the whole cartoonish storyline stuff that WWE likes to do nowadays, which is nothing wrong with that because I still watch that as well. But if you're a fan of wrestling, New Japan is where it's at.
So let's dive into Great Balls of Fire, which will then bring us a bit to Raw.
God, I hope this is a one and done name with that pay-per-view.
But the fact that the pay-per-view was so good.
It did well, yeah, but it wasn't because of the name. It was because of the card.
It's because of the card, and it was a hell of a card. So going through and actually, we'll bring it up after we go through the pay-per-view. We'll talk about the pay-per-view. So we have Neville. Neville defeated Akira Tozawa, which surprised nobody. I don't think. I'm loving Neville. So actually, no, we'll bring this up now. So Neville hasn't had anyone to feud with since, really in a big bad way, since Austin Aries. Yeah. And Austin Aries was let go. Austin Aries was just let go from the WWE.
He got his future endeavored on.
Yeah, he got future endeavored. He had a contract, I think, until 2019.
Yeah, and
And then he sent out so a lot of people were speculating what happened. He then sent out a tweet saying like it's a beautiful day. So a lot of people started to say like, oh, maybe he had asked for
maybe if X was released.
Well, then what has since come out is that no, he didn't, because for him to ask for his release, similar to say Jack Swagger, because WWE had him under contract till 2019. Had he asked for his release, they could have told him he can't compete for anything till 2019.
Oh.
So the fact that he said, "Oh, it's a beautiful day," it sounds like they let him go. They future endeavored him.
They probably didn't have anything going on for him.
Well, they didn't have anything going on, and also I guess he apparently was not very happy with his position, and made that very well known. Someone was quoted as saying that Austin Aries has a way of being his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Politically, which I do wonder about.
I can see that.
I can see that too, but I do wonder sometimes about that when it comes to WWE. Is that you are just standing up for yourself?
Yeah.
And therefore you are a bad politician backstage.
That's one of the things that's always kind of bothered me about like the WWE backstage politics.
Yes.
Are people standing up for themselves? Are people saying, no, I'm not doing this, this is a dumb idea or something? Or people are just like, hey, maybe I want to try something different. Let's do this. And they say, oh, well, you're not being a team player.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not letting me be on the team.
Well, it's also a case like I guess he wasn't happy with his position being just in the cruiserweight scene.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because for those who don't know the history of Austin Aries was like the Ring of Honor champion for a long time.
For a very long time.
Did Daniel Bryan beat him? Was it Daniel Bryan that took the championship from him?
I think so.
I want to say it was Daniel Bryan.
Someone in the chat room may know. I think
maybe Joe, but I think it was Daniel Bryan.
I think the American Dragon.
Yeah, and then he went into TNA and had a huge career there. So for him to come to WWE and kind of be put on the Junior League show, I think pissed him off.
Well, that's what happens when they bring up people from outside companies. Like,
yes,
they'll come in, make a thunderous push, and then they just fade into nothing.
Yeah, the fact that AJ Styles has seemingly the McMahons are very impressed by him is why he still has the position he has.
But he has a secondary title now.
Yes, he does.
As does the person he took it from.
Yeah.
You know, everyone who was champion at some point, who was good at being a champion at some point in time, is fighting for a secondary belt.
Yeah, it's very true.
You know, again, no shade against Jinder Mahal. I like Jinder Mahal. You know, it gives a fresh face in the championship scene.
But considering AJ's age and he had the title, but not for a very long time, you think they would let him like really run with it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or giving Bray Wyatt a better friggin' storyline.
Oh God, Bray Wyatt. So it's too bad. And apparently, the major fighting point for Aries was that his pre-show WrestleMania match with Neville was not on the DVD, which therefore means they didn't make. There's no residuals.
He didn't. Yeah, he's not going to get residuals.
You're not getting residuals. And actually, I'm going to check this right now because that was fascinating to me that match was not on the pre-show, which made me go, was the majority of the pre-show? Was all the pre-show like the Andre the Giant Memorial, and let's not forget the Dean Ambrose championship match was a pre-show match. Is the Dean Ambrose match not on this DVD? I highly doubt that, which then makes me go, then I completely understand why Aries would be like, what the hell is this?
Right.
And also considering the big reason they do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal
is to get everybody on the show.
Get everybody on the show and get them paid. So I'm gonna check this out because that just fascinates me that the Aries match is not on there. If that is in fact the case, is if the Aries match is the only one that's not on there. So I don't know, but happy for Austin Aries. I guess if he wanted to be gone, that he's gone. That there's not a non-compete. That he suddenly can't do anything.
And just devil's advocate, maybe at some point in the future, all sides can come together and figure out a better deal.
Yes.
And he could come back. If that door is still open. Here he is.
So we're just talking about
the maybe mic on the bottom where it's like, is he going to show up or not going to?
You got to have that maybe mic, baby.
I got to have that maybe mic.
So we're talking about Austin.
For the next show, not for you. All right, that's fine.
So we're talking about Austin Aries.
Getting the Cutarino.
Getting cut.
Yes.
But you know what?
Sliced.
I'm not seeing the Dean
future
Ambrose
endeavor.
match either.
Dean Ambrose is not on there either?
Oh, that's interesting. So basically what we're talking about is that
Dean Ambrose doesn't need to be there. I hate it.
Yeah, he's fine. But the fact that Aries, it kind of came to a loggerhead that he might be like, I don't want to do this anymore because his pre-show match with Neville is not on the WrestleMania DVD Blu-ray, which means they don't get residuals.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it looks like also, the Andre the Giant is not on here, and neither is the Ambrose match with The Miz.
So in 3 discs, they couldn't put any of
That's-
I'm wondering if
that's
is there
what's
are they on the
crazy.
bonus Hall of Fame? Nope.
Nope.
Yeah,
So on 3
whole
discs,
discs.
3 whole discs, and you
You're
can't get, damn.
Blu-ray exclusive, The Miz and Maurice mock Total Bellas.
They got SmackDown on there too. Wow.
So I guess I can understand why Aries would be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Fuck this. I don't
Yeah.
want to do this. And it's too bad because he's great, and I totally get why he would be upset being like put down just on the cruiserweights, because it makes you think like, had this been 3 years ago, would Daniel Bryan be that guy who's like, you're on the cruiserweight show.
Yeah.
Here you go. You're
Probably.
great. You're great. You're not going to be the champion, but you're going to be on the cruiserweight show. Oh
I know,
man.
that is an interesting question.
But so let's talk about Great Balls of Fire. We're kicking it off. So because we brought
Great
up,
song. Great song.
Great song.
By Little Richard.
Epi, did you get to watch any of this?
No, not at all.
Don't even worry about
It
it.
was actually not a bad.
It was a very good pay-per-view.
It was pretty good.
That's what I was seeing. I was just so out of loop, but I saw Sasha's outfit and I was like, why am I missing?
Yeah, man, that outfit was. Yeah.
Someone, one of my friends, had her side by side next to a blueberry Pop-Tart. And I was like,
No.
yeah, that's the color waves.
Neville obviously retained the title. Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, a match that no one cared about because both these guys are in a
It
boring
was just
storyline,
thrown together, like.
and it's still going on, I guess, which is brutal.
Yeah.
Because on Raw, so Bray won, which is good because we often complain that like Bray just keeps
Bray
getting eaten up.
Actually
Yeah.
won a match. That was just.
Let's keep
was surprising.
this scary man winning.
Yeah.
Let's get some magic back in the wrestling scene.
He won a match. He won it in the middle of the ring. He poked Seth Rollins' eye, and then they kept that.
The son of IRS deserves better.
I agree. And then they kept that continuity going by Rollins last night having like an eye injury and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that was the closer of Raw, which isn't great. They should have closed with Joe and Brock because that was great.
No, Brock got to go home.
Yeah.
I know, it's like, look,
He tired. He tired. But they closed out Raw last night, and again, good match. Nothing wrong with the match, but you just don't care about the storyline whatsoever. The big thing was that we're getting teased that the Shield might get back together.
oh my
I
gosh.
don't want that.
That's what's so funny is I feel like this is like the WWE's last ditch effort where it's like, all right, so they don't like Roman.
Yeah.
We still want to push him on them, so
Yeah.
let's put the Shield back together.
Well, they
But-
didn't use Roman at all in this. So basically, what happened was it was a continuation of the Miz Dean Ambrose storyline that has been going on since Francis Ford Coppola made The Godfather.
Yeah.
It is the
that
longest
storyline's
feud.
so long that it's longer than every Transformers movie lined up together in a marathon.
It jumped a total brand to keep going. It is so boring of a feud with entertaining moments, but otherwise it's just so long. But in the middle of Miz went out last night and had a thing called was it called the Mizzies? It was basically like an Oscars thing.
Is that his own award show?
Yeah, his own award show, and he gave awards to himself and Maurice, and put Dean Ambrose over actually in a good way. He's like, yeah, he's great, he's this, he's that, and blah 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 blah. But I'm better because I beat him. But at least he made Dean Ambrose
brought
look
it up,
good.
yeah.
yeah.
Dean comes out, starts fighting all those guys. Bo Dallas takes him. They're taking him out, and then out of nowhere, Seth Rollins runs out and assists Dean. And Dean Ambrose is like, "What do you do? And I don't trust you." And Seth Rollins is like, "I just wanted to shut up the Miz."
Yeah.
So, and then later on in the night, in the middle of the Bray Wyatt match, Miz and those guys show up. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose comes to Rollins' assist, again teasing that, ooh, are the Shield getting, but no mention of Roman whatsoever.
Yeah.
The thing is, like with the Shield getting back together, it's like too little, too late.
Yes.
One, because there's one bona fide star out of that trio, and his name is Seth Rollins.
Yes. Yes.
What?
I
So-
agree.
I'm not-
it's true.
I'm
but
not
it's
gonna
so
pretend
funny.
like I care about Dean Ambrose. I don't. I've said it on this show a bunch of. Anytime I can say it, I hate him. He and Roman Reigns is about. If he were a spice, he'd be flour. Like he's just
You
so-
need him. You need him.
He's so
Oh
boring.
You got it. You need
Gosh.
it though. You need it.
flour, yeah, but at the same time, if
Yeah.
someone's gluten free comes to the party, we don't really need them no more.
And that's most of the fans.
we need cornstarch.
Oh my gosh.
So Big Cass beat the shit out of Enzo, like in a big way.
dude,
But
yeah.
Enzo had a great Enzo's promo work the last month with his big ass.
Awesome on the mic.
He's always been awesome, but this was great. This was so good that it's like if WWE decides like, well, that's over. Bye, Enzo. Big Cass is our guy now. That'd be a shame because he worked that mic so good that night. The last couple of Raws. Was really killing it, but yeah, he got the snot kicked out of him.
I'm sure he rocked that mic as if his job depended on it.
I have no doubt.
And then the next night, to make Big Cass even look better, they kept Enzo off Raw.
Yes, they did.
Big Cass came out talking about, I want to be Universal Champion.
And he came out to a beautifully generic wrestling
song. He came out
and just black trunks that say Big Cass over his nuts.
Yeah. He came out.
They don't have any angle for him yet. They're just
nothing.
Like, he's back.
They were like, oh shit, he's solo now. What
they
music
definitely have future
use?
angle though, because he did come out and he kept mentioning the Universal Championship.
Yes.
And you don't have him do that if you're not planning on doing something with him, unless it's Rusev. You don't have him mention the belt so often if you're like, we're not going to give him the belt though.
Yeah.
And then the Big Show came out and then beat the shit out of Big Cass, which was amazingly strange.
I feel bad for the Big Show sometimes because now his new chant is "Please retire."
Yeah.
People
Is it
literally chant that to him now.
Oh, I gotta rewatch last night. I felt like that died down.
No, they cut it out.
Well,
It's the Big Slow.
He should probably retire.
Yeah.
He's gotten cut though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell he's getting ready for his like big send off. So he's trying to get nice fit.
He's about to wrestle Shaq for the 18th time.
It's gonna
That's
happen.
never gonna happen.
We had Cesaro Sheamus in an Iron Man tag match against the Hardy Boys. This was great.
This
was really good. I liked the ending. The ending being kind of a schmazzy thing where Jeff hits a move. He's gonna pin it. They're about to team it up. 1, 2, on the clock. I'm
now,
like, great. I love that.
With Iron Man matches are tricky.
They're very tricky.
Because it's only the last couple minutes that matter.
Oh, yeah.
I like how this one started with Sheamus just kicking, I think it was Matt. He just kicked Matt in the face and got a pin immediately. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm in. It's just like, if it's an Iron Man match and I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, I got like 20 minutes to do whatever I need to do, and not be too invested in this match. But this was like, it's only been a handful of Iron Man matches that are actually watchable from bell to bell.
Yeah.
One of the worst involves 2 huge stars, and that's The Rock and Triple H. That one was boring.
I gotta rewatch that one because I think that's considered generally a good one.
That was the one with Shawn Michaels was the ref.
Yes.
And like it was on a wrestling standpoint, it was bad because The Rock was just winded like 15 minutes in.
Was that post Scorpion King? He hadn't wrestled in a while.
I think so.
Yeah, he's probably not.
And that was like the debut of the Undertaker.
Well, he thought he was never gonna have to do any physical activity after seeing that CGI. He was like, "Oh snap!
I'm good to go."
That's how my action career is gonna be. It's all CGI. I'm out the gym.
Came into work, saw on the bulletin board Iron Man match. He's like, "What?
Yeah.
For how long?
Are you crazy?
You need The Rock to wrestle for an hour?
Oh man!
Now he's literally flexing out of arm cams.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And they opened up Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy got opened up in a big bad way at the pay-per-view. And then last night, the Hardys come out, and they have not done as many references to the broken universe.
They did so many broken references
so many.
last night that I was like, wait.
Yeah.
They're getting there. It's going to be the slowest burn, but when they get there, that's the funny thing is like no matter how long it takes, the moment they let loose, people are just going to go crazy.
Well, then the club came out, took him out, like beat him very easily, which again, like very much leads to what the broken storyline was. Matt Hardy has a head injury. They lose the belts. They're getting defeated. They kept attacking Matt's head, all the references. And then after the club beat them, the Revival come out, and they also beat the shit out of the Hardys. It was great. If they're leading to the broken stuff, I'm really looking forward to it. They did the natural slow build to it, which is super enjoyable. Which brings us to Sasha and Alexa. This was a great match.
Yeah.
I thought it was very, very good.
Like, it was a really cheap finish.
It was, but I like that. I like that Alexa's being a great heel right now. She's doing great heel work. And the fact that she is so basically, Alexa got herself counted out, walked out of the ring, like holding the belt, being like, "I did it," and she did the dislocation arm move again, where it's like she's double jointed.
Right,
So,
I saw like a still from that, and I was like, did she just get her arm broken in the match or something? Like, no, it was like
they did that on SmackDown once, and people freaked out. Let me see if I can find this image.
Yeah,
Well, that's the original SmackDown
that's the original one.
Okay, so this is the one from Great Balls of Fire. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So she's double jointed in her shoulders, and she does that move. So the ref comes like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" She'll pop it back in and then tackle the person.
Wow.
And it's a great little move, and I love that they've really only done it now twice in the last year.
They shouldn't do it a lot just to protect it. Also, you don't want any accidents because like someone might run into it and then her arm is like now she's the drummer in Def Leppard. So
doing great work?
I know with the Heat references, it's right on the tip of everyone's tongue. The
Def Leppard drummer.
Yeah, everyone's been like, man, I can't wait to hear some Heat about him.
You weren't here for the beak from X-Men, right?
To be fair. And then we were talking about the Miz match. Miz obviously won with the assist. Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, the ambulance match.
Now, here we go.
Here we go.
So, these two who take homeboy selfies on Instagram and all that had a match. And it was an ambulance match, and the ending, the way Roman loses this match. Now, I'm all about Roman losing matches.
Of course.
But the way he like went for the spear, and he got out of the way, and he just runs straight into the ambulance.
No,
Yep.
They didn't. They did not make him this bullfighter.
Yeah, basically.
He ran into the back of the ambulance. And Strowman closed the door. What I love about this, though, it's that classic thing where it's like, so Strowman closes the door and then just holds his hands up as if Roman was like dead now that the door got closed.
Now that he's closed, he can't possibly get out. I think the level.
Yeah. Because so then Roman jumped out. They kept fighting. So Roman lost. Roman lost the match. They start attacking each other. Roman throws him in the back of the ambulance, closes the door, drives the ambulance out of the building into the parking structure, and then full speed backs the ambulance into a big rig truck.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then so Kurt Angle and all these guys are coming up like, "What are you doing? Oh, my God, Braun!
Right.
Braun!" They have to get the jaws of life to like pull him out of the
life to pull him
So
out.
while they're dealing with this, they had a Heath Slater, Kurt Hawkins match.
They just threw out. They just threw that out.
Oh, man.
They didn't focus on the backstage segment. They're like, let's get Heath, Kurt, gear up, get out.
They were probably worried. After House of Horrors, they were worried the audience was going to start going boring or something. And they couldn't have that.
Go to Heath.
He
was probably still in his like pajamas.
Yeah.
It's like, they actually are doing this thing.
Oh, you got to get out there. What? So they pull open this ambulance, and I'm going to give WWE credit. Braun comes out of this thing a bloody mess.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, let me see if I can find an image. But
he came out really bloodied up, but Roman Reigns, everyone's saying, "Oh, it's his heel turn."
Yeah, people were saying
Did
it's
you
a
just
double.
Google while you were on Google?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Might have happened.
Google while he was on Google.
Listen, y'all. My bad. Sometimes my bad. So let me see if I can perfectly find this. Like, now I'm not trying to oversell it like it was a horror movie or anything, but he definitely was walking out of there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So credit to WWE for going this far with it.
Because you don't see a lot of blood anymore.
You see almost no blood nowadays, and if there's blood, they immediately have someone run out,
or they'll stop the match.
Yeah. And how much of this is real or not real? Obviously, there was the famous Triple H beat the shit out of Roman Reigns, and he's bleeding, and we see them hand over, you know, the blood pack. It's on there. So is Braun in the back of this ambulance just going? A sketch show probably. Just as quick as he can. But so they pull the jaws of life over. Braun's falling out of this ambulance, and they're like, "Braun, we gotta go to the hospital." He's like, "Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I can walk. I can walk," which makes him look strong. And so some people were talking about Sunday night, was this a double turn?
No.
Did they turn Roman heel and Braun's a face and this, that, and the other? That Braun was the hero, and Roman couldn't take losing and blah, 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 which then Raw pretty much completely ignored.
Of course they did.
This is the second time that they've made Roman look like a heel. People liked it.
And then they
and
then he's cracking jokes on Raw the next night and not addressing anything.
Yeah. But it's worth I gotta pass the keyboard over to Iffy because this has to happen. The arrest of Roman Reigns for the attempted murder of Braun Strowman on change.org.
Yeah.
If you want to work your magic.
Here we go again.
And this is one of the things. This is how I knew that wrestling was fake ever since I was a kid. There's no consequences for attempted murder or aggravated assault or anything like that.
Did you ever talk about when you thought Undertaker got killed?
Huh?
When you talked about Undertaker got killed when you were a kid?
Yeah, in the match, the Buried Alive match, when Kane comes out and buries the
Oh,
Undertaker.
yeah.
And I thought he died for real, and I started crying. I was crying. I was like, how could you do that to your own brother?
Wow.
Yeah, and then I went to school and was talking about it, and one of my friends was like, he's not dead.
He's not dead.
He's okay.
He's going to be on Raw tonight, probably.
I think he was. Because I think what you talked about later, if he was like, if you got the VHS, which had extra footage, you see the Undertaker
digging himself out.
Yeah, exactly. People have done it. Roman Reigns. Oh, God, it's so good. And we are going to talk about, I do want to talk about Kurt Angle. The documentary, so while if he's doing this, the documentary aired last night on the WWE Network, the 24-hour thing that they do. Obviously, it was more than 24 hours, but I think it was like Kurt Angle, Welcome Home, and it was very good. It's an hour-long documentary, and it talks about Kurt's career leading up to WWE, his time in WWE. I had forgotten he broke his neck 3 times in 1 year.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that. And the reason it also made news was because Dixie Carter is on the documentary.
Really?
Dixie Carter's on the documentary. They actually talk about TNA.
Really?
Not
because in CM Punk's documentary, their mention of his TNA, he wrestled in Florida on Thursdays.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah, that's right. So no, but they actually take Dixie Carter's on there. They talk about TNA. Not that much. Most of what they give the TNA is like Kurt talking about like, I was hoping Vince was watching and all this other stuff. There is a great moment, though, in the documentary where Kurt Angle pulls up to the offices, the British Connecticut offices of WWE, sees Stephanie, sees Triple H, and sees Vince. And by all accounts, that was the first time he'd seen Vince in 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So the camera's behind him as he goes into Vince's office. Vince hugs him and then looks right at the camera and goes, get out of here. Get out. Out right now. And I'm like, I'm shocked they kept that in the documentary. But they really wanted the Vince hug. Like he hugs him, looks at the camera and goes, get out right now.
Wow.
And I'm like, the only reason you didn't cut that was because it happened like immediately after the hug. There's no other way you could like not awkwardly cut it out. But it's a really good documentary. I think guys should definitely watch it.
Do they talk about the whole Jeff Jarrett stealing his wife part?
No. They do not. That is not touched upon. Like as far as like his big TNA feuds and all that other stuff, if you have knowledge that like, oh, he fought with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe because they're on there. Mickey James talks a little bit about it, but it's very, very good.
Well,
and I mean,
all those people still work for WWE now.
Yes, they do. But it's a very good documentary. The only thing that it did make people wonder. So the Kurt Angle thing is now going to come to a head. Whatever the thing with Corey Graves they've been teasing. It's happening next week. We're going to get our answers. Oh, so so why don't you read us what you wrote?
Yeah. Once again, the WWE displays their poor judgment in video recording the violent assault on its own employees, and out of all the people to have done it, Roman Reigns. I remember typing this very same stern message about an assault on him. Seems like this is an endless cycle of violence and sometimes murder within the WWE. If something isn't done about this, I may be forced to cancel my subscription to the WWE Network for the low price of $9.99. I'm going to return my daughter's Roman Empire, more like violent assault empire, if you ask me, shirt ASAP. Unbelievable.
And if he shared that on Facebook, so if you're his Facebook friend, go give that a like.
Yet again, here we are. Yet again.
So good. So yeah, the big Kurt Angle thing is going to come to a head next week. Someone's coming to Raw, and Kurt Angle's on the phone going like, "No, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay." No, we didn't do anything wrong. We have nothing to be ashamed of. All right, I love you. I love you too. Goodbye. And hung up the phone. And a lot of people are very concerned it's going to be Dixie Carter because she doesn't work for TNA anymore.
Really?
And a lot of people are like,
so they're going to Eric Bischoff her?
Don't be Dixie Carter. Don't make it that they're
do
in
a
love.
horrible version of that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, please,
Just
God.
so Vince could be like, you're fired.
You're fired. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. It could be anything, I guess. But it'll be but the fact that he said I love you, I'm like, who? What?
Yeah.
It must be someone we know. It's got to be someone we know.
Someone we know.
Old either female wrestler or female character could come back that would grab the audience that would make sense to tie it into Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
That hasn't been there. And I'm like, well, this is it could be interesting or it could be brutal.
It could be terribly horrible.
Ooh, unless they make it that it's Stephanie.
Yeah, it probably be Stephanie.
Ooh,
She hasn't been gone since Mania, right?
She hasn't been there since Mania, and that was an old storyline that Stephanie had to choose between Kurt and Triple H.
It was unresolved
Wow,
too.
yeah.
They just kind of threw that out.
So if they do another version of that,
I'm cool with that.
I might enjoy that. Although I could see her being like, I'm not doing that. I have children.
Yeah. I have children now. That's
They still think this is real.
Yeah.
They saw the Undertaker video getting buried in their crying.
Right.
Yeah. And so the big wrap up, of course, was Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe. A short match. A lot of people were not happy with the fact that it was short, but I thought it was actually pretty good. I thought it was a very quick hitting match. Joe lost, but he lost in a way that made
he still looked strong.
He looked very strong. It was a desperate move by Brock. Brock hit him with one F5. A lot of people wish Joe had kicked out, but I kind of like that if we're going back to finishers or finishers.
Yeah.
And not just things to be infinitely kicked out of forever. Which brought us this great moment from the Raw last night that I absolutely loved, which is first, so real quick summation. Brock comes out. With Kurt Angle comes out, and that's the first time Brock and Kurt Angle have been on camera since their famous WrestleMania match, so that was great.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about Brock, we want to talk about who you're going to feud at SummerSlam, and Paul Heyman's like, my client is not here to negotiate creativity right now. We're here to celebrate his win. Roman Reigns' music hits, the fans boo.
Why is he there?
I know.
To look on, like he looks so sad.
He looks so lost.
What's going on? Joe, leave them all.
I'm Samoan too.
Yeah, Roman comes out.
My name's also Joe.
And Roman comes out and's like, I think I'm the big dog and I got to take you out and blah, 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 blah. The music hits for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe comes out and it goes, bullshit. We have unfinished business. You're not doing shit, blah, 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 blah. Paul Heyman goes, I think the guy who retired The Undertaker deserves a shot more than you, the fake Samoan. My client already took care of you, brother.
Oh, my gosh.
So then, and Brock Lesnar also on mic, which makes you go, oh, I wish I was there live, is Brock Lesnar yells, the mic's away from him, but he goes like, you don't deserve shit to Roman Reigns, right?
Right.
So then this happens, and this might be one of my favorite things on Raw ever, and this is why I love Samoa Joe and I love Lesnar. It's these unpredictable moments, and how much of it was real or scripted or what, but let's check this out real quick.
Your advocate, he's protecting you from me. Because in his heart, deep down, at the bottom of his soul, he knows I'm the one. I'm the man. Hey, you look at me when I'm talking to you, or we can straight this out right now.
The crowd pops so hard.
And then Roman's in the back like, man, I wish I could talk like that.
Right. This is great.
Oh.
You showed the whole world that love.
That's enough. There's one more thing to do. Wait. Hey, you're real mouthy for a man who got beat down by Braun Strowman last night.
I love the Braun Strowman shade in that.
Yeah.
It's like, you got beat by that
Braun
guy.
Strowman. You got beat by a dude who looks like an old-timey
You
weightlifter.
Yeah, you got beat by the roadie. Get the fuck out.
right.
Man. But so I just want to show that part. But I love that when Samoa Joe goes full dad on him and goes, "Hey, you look at me when I'm talking to you. We'll end this right now."
I will turn this car around, buddy.
We didn't get to talk about the Roman segment, the Joe segment from last week, when Joe was walking around they were doing a interview. It was him and Brock, and they're both on camera in separate rooms. And Brock's just being arrogantly Brock, laughing all this other stuff. And Joe's like, "Let me go," because then Brock's like, "Man, I could take you on. I beat Triple H. I beat The Undertaker. I beat this guy." And Samoa Joe goes like, "Oh, we want to talk about who we've been beating? I beat Daniel Bryan. I beat this person. I beat that person. Blah blah blah." And he's like, "Why are you laughing? I'm coming. I'm looking for you." And he left the interview room and started walking around the arena to find Brock, and it's a great segment. But then there's a moment where Kurt Angle's like, "Save it till Sunday. Save it till Sunday." And Joe's going, "Hey, business, you go back to work. I'm taking care of my stuff. Business."
Oh man!
And I said about Samoa Joe, I said on the tweet, I'm like, Samoa Joe, because he's from I think he's from LA. He's either LA or San Diego, but
I think it's San Diego.
He's got a swagger to him that is, it's Southern California swagger.
Yeah.
No one else in the country has that swagger like Southern California yelling at a guy, "Hey, business!"
Yeah. That's the signature. Whatever your outfit, whatever your look or your job is, that's your name.
That's your name.
now.
Oh, it's so good. So I'm
Postman.
loving this. Yeah. Hey, boy.
Hey, suspenders, sit your ass down.
But there's just this swagger to him, and I think if you're from Southern California, you recognize it. You're like, yeah, he's a California boy. But I love this feud. I love this feud. Next week, we're gonna see Roman versus Samoa Joe. It's gonna determine who goes to SummerSlam. I'm hoping. I mean, look, the rumors are basically that it's gonna be Roman Reigns, that they want to give the title to Reigns because they want to give the title to someone who's there weekly. I'm praying to God something happens and that the SummerSlam match is a 3-way.
Yeah.
Keep Joe in this.
Keep Joe in
You know who's also there weekly that people actually like? Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe's there every week. Every week he's there, and he can wrestle, and he can talk on the microphone, and he doesn't have to use his fake cousin to prop him up.
Yeah.
What? Did I say anything wrong?
Fake cousin. Yeah, if you do a 4-way with Braun at SummerSlam, I'd watch the hell out of that. So yeah, Great Balls of Fire was really good. I really liked Raw last night. I mean, ending with this should have ended the show over the Bray.
Oh man, Brock gotta go home. Brock be like,
I
"Look,
know.
man, I clock out at this time."
I know.
He's like that dude, like when you book a stand-up show and it's like a big time person, like it's like, and you advertising Chris Rock headlining.
know.
That headliner's in the middle of the show.
Yeah, Chris Rock comes. He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna just open up the show, all right?"
Yeah. Everybody follow me.
Yeah. I'm gonna just because I got somewhere to be.
Yeah.
I got early call time
He's
tomorrow.
like, this steakhouse closes at 9:00.
Yeah, so I gotta roll out. I'm out.
So this is, and this I made this moment a GIF because it's so good. Let me back it up just 2 seconds. Because Roman's saying he deserves a shot because he took out Braun Strowman.
You're never around to.
I had to make that a GIF because it's too good.
I know that's a perfect reaction gift for when that Jimmy John's is about to come out the oven.
Right?
I use that as a GIF. I'm like, when someone starts talking shit in YouTube comments, you're like,
oh. I got you.
all right, guys. Well, we got to wrap this one up. Iffy, glad you were able to make it, man.
Yeah, caught it. And I started a new gig in Beverly Hills. Underestimated that Beverly Hills 5 o'clock traffic.
That getting out of Beverly
Yeah,
Hills.
there was just a moment where I was in my car like this.
I live here now.
Yeah, it's like this is my life now.
I had to text my wife. Go, I'm sorry, I'm never coming home.
I just moved to this piece of street in Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
tell the baby I love her very much.
Yeah, bye.
Right.
Yeah, no, they're in New York, so Daddy is all alone.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, Mia had told me Tanaka full volume. All right, let's bring the show to a close. Let's just skip over that.
All right, guys, but next week we're going to be back. Janelle's going to be here. We're going to do a Q&A. We're going to hit that stuff up. We'll talk about SmackDown, what happened on SmackDown tonight. Aaron, man, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sticking around, man.
No problem, man. I'm always happy to be here.
And thanks for filling in for me. Thanks to that traffic, got our backs.
I was about to go solo, and I would have done it.
I know you would have. You would have went full Bill Burr and just talked to yourself.
Can I talk about something right now?
Yeah.
Talk about something real quick? I just popped in. Hey, you need me to stay?
Yeah.
But guys, stick around. Cineverse is coming up next. They're going to be talking about Amazing Spider-Man. They're going to be talking Spider-Man Homecoming, and I think a little bit about a Baby Driver. But guys, thank you so much, and thank you for watching Hyper RPG. You can follow us there in the Nightbot Follows. And other than that, guys, we'll see you around later. Watch wrestling.
Bum ba da bum bum ba dum bum ba da bum bum ba dum bum. bum ba bum bum. Bum ba bum bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum ba bum.